Very ironically, the court we're sitting on right now doing this interview was where I discovered wheelchair tennis. I rolled in and Randy Snow was here putting on the clinic. I had no clue who he was. And that was the day I learned what wheelchair tennis was, how good wheelchair tennis players were, how bad I was.
And I remember coming in, and Nick was here, and he's this little tiny guy at 13 or 14, and he came out, could barely hit a ball over the net.
But I was determined there was no way that somebody could be better than I was.
Nick just had this desire to learn and grow in the sport.
If you added all the hours up, it would be such an astronomical amount of time. Tens of thousands of hours. Walls, garage doors. And by my senior year, I was basically our best player.
The first time you play Nick, it's pretty hard to beat the guy. He's so good at what he does and has perfected it so well.
So in 2000, I was working my way through the rankings, starting to get a little bit better. That's when I beat the number one player in the world, 6-0-6-0. Shortly thereafter, I got named to the World Team Cup team and went to Paris, France on my first international trip.
The quad team that I helped captain, we got to 11 finals, and we won the championship 7 times. And Nick was on every single one of those teams. So you're talking about 7 world championships, and I know he's won a few more. And he's definitely been one of the best big match players we've ever had.
He gets very intense on the court, but that's the spirit inside of him, and it's the competitor that he was that made him such the great champion on the court he was.
Nick and David in doubles, it is poetry. It is 100% poetry. It is an art and a craft that they have perfected over a long time.
So the first one that we actually played at was in World Team Cup in New Zealand in January of '04. So the year of Athens, the year of the Paralympics. And that's where we kind of learned that we would be a good team.
From the very first match, we both had a pretty good idea that it was going to be a pretty good combination together. We were just kind of two pieces of the puzzle that fit.
It just was a 1-2 punch that was pretty unbeatable there for a while.
I could cover the baseline really well, hit forehands, hit big topspin lobs that drove people nuts, and just really be extremely consistent, just be a wall, not miss. And David was up at the net, finishing the point off over and over.
We had a great run together, and it was fun, and it budded a beautiful friendship.
Together, he and I won 3 gold medals and a silver medal in the Paralympics, 11 Grand Slams. That's 7 U.S. Opens, where actually he and I are undefeated at the U.S. Open. We never lost. And then we kept playing all the way through until I retired. I mean, he was on court with me for my very last match just a few months ago.
It's just the right time, He has nothing left to prove in the sport, nothing.
Nick also participates on the USTA Wheelchair Committee nationally, which is really great. And that committee kind of oversees how we're going to grow wheelchair tennis community-wise. We're trying to focus on our youth so we can have some players come up, and hopefully we can create somewhere along the line another Nick Taylor, although there is only one Nick Taylor.
We stumbled upon a flyer in our mail that came in our mail about an ad for a clinic that was being held at one of our local high schools. And Nick was there. He got there, put me in a chair, put a racket in my hand, and I remember the first time I hit a ball over the net.
So I sent him out there to hit with somebody, and I watched him just take a couple. It was literally like 5 pushes in the chair, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I looked at his mom and I said, ma'am, I know you don't know who I am, and I know you don't even know what I'm about to tell you. You're not even going to necessarily understand it. But if you give me a chance, your son could be on the U.S. national team within about 2 years.
I have been the highest ranked American player for the past 3-4 years. And I have Nick to thank, since he's been with me every step of the way through every milestone.
You don't see players at Nick's level who have the desire to want to give back to communities like he does. He's now going to run 2 USTA Pro Circuit tournaments. He will drive anywhere within the country to go help someone start up their wheelchair program.
In the tennis world, it would be tough to find someone else who's ever gotten more out of their abilities than Nick has.
He's a Hall of Famer, man. I mean, he's one of the best there ever will be.
That first day that I met him here when he was 14, I never expected to see that he's accomplished what he's accomplished.
His drive and his internal strength is what makes me in awe.
I never ever dreamed it would get to where it is. I mean, certainly not when I first started.